Kohanim? So listen to the story. About 20 years ago, a Dr. Karl Skarecki, anyone know him? And he's a Kohen, by the way. And he notices a Yemenite Jew being called up as a Kohen. And Dr. Skarecki happens to be a geneticist. So he said to himself, well, if I'm a Kohen and he's a Kohen, that means we descended from the same man. That's what it means to be a Kohen. We both descended from Aaron HaKohen who lived 3,300 years ago. And now we can prove it genetically. How do we do this? The way we do it is we have a very amazing process called the molecular clock. I won't bore you with the technicalities, but what we do is we can tell how closely related any two individuals are by looking at their genes. And very broadly, the way it works is, let's say you have parents who have two sons. The two boys will have almost identical genetic pattern, what they call the non-coding regions of the DNA, because they inherit them from the parents. But there'll be a slight difference between them, because in every reproduction, you get what's called one click of the molecular clock. In other words, the so-called random mutation creeps in, and so there'll be a slight discrepancy between the two. Is this clear? In their children, first cousins, there'll be 2 clicks of the clock. And in the next generation, there'll be 3 clicks of the clock. Which means nowadays we can tell exactly how many generations have gone by between a common ancestor and any people on Earth today. A recent study showed that any 2 Jews on Earth are 10 times more closely related than any 2 random New Yorkers. Okay? So we can't tell you how many years have gone by exactly. For that you need assumptions of how old people were when they were having their children over the generations. But we can tell exactly how many generations have gone by between a common ancestor and cousins living today. Is this clear? Okay, so Skarecki said, well, let's do that. We can tell how long ago we ordered Kohanim, if we have a unique genetic signature for Kohanim, how long ago the common ancestor lived. Where would you find hundreds or maybe thousands of Kohanim on one place at one time? The Kotel. So Dr. Skarecki went down to the Kotel, put down his little table of genetic stuff, during Chol Hamoed on Sukkot, hundreds of Kohanim, and after receiving his due blessing, or giving his blessing with the Kohanim, he gathered hundreds of Kohanim around him, took a little scraping from inside of their cheek, and analyzed the DNA. And it turns out that Kohanim have a unique genetic pattern on which chromosome? On the Y chromosome. In order to be a Kohen, you need to inherit stuff from your father. Previously we spoke about that. So you look at the Y chromosome, which you get only from your father, it's unadulterated paternal lineage in the Y chromosome. And it turns out that Kohanim have 6 features that are uniquely different than non-Kohanim. It's called the CMH, the Cohen model haplotype genetic pattern. And so Skarecki gave the work to a team at Oxford University, and they did a big research study, and it turns out there's an amazing level of concordance between people claiming to be Kohanim. And all he required was you said you were Kohen. You know, other evidence is that you orthodox, conservative, reform, no criteria, simply you say that your father told you you're a Kohen. One of the most amazing consequences, look it up, you can Google the study, you can see. The conclusion is, this proves that a tremendously high percentage of people claiming to be Kohanim in the Jewish religion today descend from one man who lived about 2,000 years ago. Now we would dispute the 2,000 years, we'd say it's more like 3,000, but it's not bad, and again they're making assumptions about ages. One of the most moving things about this study, I must say brought tears to my eyes, is that in the middle of the study, the Oxford researchers, these are non-Jewish, dry academic, non-Jews, they report this, they say an unexpected side issue, an unexpected ancillary finding in our study was an unbelievable, unprecedented level of marital fidelity among the Jewish people. Yes, please.
Can you speak from a halachic or ethical Torah perspective as to whether this is plain God or maybe Hashem doesn't want us